right, and we're back with another episode of The Deliberate Dropout. Got my co-host, Ljupco Stajanovski. Ljupco, how's it going?
Doing good, brother.
All right, you ready to keep it rolling with episode number 3?
Yes,
all right.
Yeah, let's do this, man.
All right, let's break it down. When you're making that decision, whether you're dropping out of college or not, or you're just like going out into the real world, for the first time, whether you're coming right out of high school, you finish college, you drop it out, like it is tough out there. And I think that, one of the most important things you can do is like learn up. You got to learn up. You got to educate yourself, and not just like book smarts. Like, what are the things, the useful ideas that you can put in your head that are going to actually help you get better, more predictable results from the world around you? And for me, like, I'm a big reader, podcast listener, sub below average podcast host sometimes, but always trying to consume ideas and do some, useful ideas, not just like filling my head with fluff. And so I'm always reading and trying to find better ideas than the ones I have in my head, things that are going to make my life better. Books and podcasts are two of my favorite. And I want to get your take on this too. For the person who's dropping out of college or just getting started in the real world, what are the most important books in your mind that those people should crack open right now, ideas that are going to help them get better results out of the real world?
Yeah, for sure. Just to start off too, man, like, honestly, I'd probably defer to you, like, on this, because I see your posts, I see the books you read. No, deadass. You probably have a much bigger library than myself. What I could say, and I definitely want to get your take as well, but what I could say, like, for me, when I broke down like the content of what I want to consume, skill set or mindset. Do I need to fix the mindset? Do I need to fix the skill set? And then you just, honestly, everything just falls into those two, right? Like, it's either a mindset problem. So Tony Robbins, those cats, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone. Or if you want to learn a skill set, which is like Robert Kiyosaki's telling you about finance, telling you about real estate. I kind of want to get, honestly, man, like, I feel like you have a lot more diamonds than me, man. Like, I figured it out along the way. Like, preach, man. What you got? What do you got?
Man, I haven't ever thought about it that way, but I love the way you broke it down. Skill set, mindset. I would say that for me, I read a ton of mindset books. And I think that's part of like being in the content world where you're trying to create. And I'm just trying to like understand people better so I can communicate better, like with the nature of like what we do at Praxis, helping young adults make that decision of, how do I go start strong in the real world? A lot of that for me is mindset and like being able to tell that story. So I'll rattle off a couple of those, but now that you bring up the skill set aspect, there are some definite ones that I think are perfect books for starting points there. So mindset, number one, probably the most important book I've read in my life as it relates to mindset. And I can't, like, I'm not embellishing that. I've reread this book like 3 or 4 times. I wish I would have read it earlier. I wish I would have been mature enough to make use of it and read it earlier in my life. But I read it at kind of like a time in my life where I was actually ready for it, which is an important thing for books too, is if you're not ready for an idea, you're going to discard it. Sometimes that's still okay because it'll rattle around and, you can draw on it. But for me, I was a year or 2 out of college. I was very unclear with what I wanted to do. And I was thinking about going back to law school and an MBA right before I found this book. And I had just made the decision not to do that, to go bet on myself, to go through Praxis, but to go apprentice a CEO across the country. I didn't know anybody in this new city. I didn't even know the guy that I was going to go apprentice. I just knew, like, if anybody's going to make this work, it's on me to make it work. And like, everybody is kind of giving me grief about that I've decided not to go this very clear route. And so the book I read was How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World by Harry Browne. Harry Browne is like, he ran for president under the Libertarian Party in like 1996 and like 2000 or 2004 or whatever. It's like this old school sales guy, like financial planner in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, wrote a ton of finance books. But this book is like the culmination of kind of his life philosophy. And for me, it was very actionable because it was, we all, as individuals, we all fall into these traps where we let people take our freedom from us in our daily lives. And when we let people take our freedom from us, we allow them to basically have voting shares in the decisions we make. Whether it's you feel like you should go this route, but everybody tells you no, and so you listen to them instead of following what your gut. It's like all these little different ways that we give up our freedom and our happiness, and we end up living somebody else's lives than our own. And so for me, like that mindset book was so important because I had just made a decision to go blaze my own trail. And I was looking like my confidence was also low at that point in life. And so it was like, low confidence, doing something not a lot of people are in my circle are supporting me with. That mindset shift was important because the book gave me some very immediate things that like a new perspective on how to approach that decision, how to approach conversations with people, and to start building some important momentum down that route. So that's probably number one. A couple other I'll rattle off that I just think are good. How will you measure your life by Clayton Christensen? How to find fulfilling work by Roman Krznaric. 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson. So many others. Those are some of my favorite mindset books. What about you? What about, mindset or skill set? Throw one out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, for mindset, I'd probably like, you just rattled off most of them, right? I would say Think and Grow Rich, maybe.
Oh, that's a good one.
Put that in there. Napoleon Hill, just as like a starter, right? I like that book. That was kind of my first like wake up moment. Like, damn, like this guy's thinking way different than and they don't even share it in school. It's just like, why are we reading Huckleberry Finn? Why are we not reading half these? Like, why aren't we reading half these books? I love me a Great Gatsby, but crap, like, damn, give me a good, like, something that could immediate ROI,
Yeah. Gatsby's maybe an entertaining beach read, but like, what a like pessimistic view of the world that book is. Like, give me some Napoleon Hill. Dude, Napoleon Hill, Law of Attraction, and like some of those other, man, one of my favorite things from Napoleon Hill's book is the 3 Feet from Gold story he tells.
Yes.
It's like the prospectors going out into the gold rush in the 40s in California, 1840s. Yep. And this guy spent like his entire life savings, his family's life savings, like just completely bankrupted everybody going to find gold, and was like just so close. He decided to throw in the towel. And then somebody came in behind him like months later or whatever, and like went and started digging in the same place and found gold, struck gold, like a massive gold, massive rich gold. Yeah. I don't know what they call it, like 3 feet away from where he had stopped digging. And I was like, what? I've used that in newsletters so far, but like, that's important. It's like, keep pushing through. You get the results you want out of life if you just keep pushing through. That's a big idea.
Hell yeah, man. Diamonds out of pressure, right? Like, don't be scared of pressure. Make diamonds out of pressure, like same thing.
Okay. So I'll throw out a skill set one too. This is such a great book. And if you take notes of all the other books that are in this book, the books they quote and recommend, you've got your reading list for like 5 years. And it's the Personal Mba by Josh Kaufman, which is like everything you need to know about business. It truly is the Personal Mba. And don't just like read it, but like think about the ideas. I read it a little bit later in life when I was actually, behind the scenes, right hand of the CEO of a fast growing company, like had a playground to apply a lot of the concepts. And like, I was in an environment where I could see these concepts life size. And so for me, it was like immediately actionable. I was getting ROI from day one. But even if you're not yet in that world, the Personal Mba is like the crash course to everything you need to know about business before you know anything about business. And then if you really want to go deep on any concept, he gives you like 50 book recommendations on everything from accounting and finance to law to marketing and sales and everything. So I think that I bought like 200 books, probably reading that book over the course of several years. Like, you just build a massive book list, but that's one of my favorites.
Damn, bro. Yeah, that sounds Personal Mba, Josh Kaufman.
Yep. If you don't have that one, definitely get that one.
That's fire right there.
All right, super skills. Pick one. What's one of your super skills that you feel like you have or you're cultivating? And let's throw out some of those more specific skill area books or podcasts or whatever.
I would say for specific skills, Fanatical Prospector by Jeb Blunt. Every single sales professional prospects. If you do not prospect, you're either scared of rejection or you feel like you're worth more than it. That's not the case. That book really opened my mind about like sales, and like anybody can, like, negotiation is all about leverage. We all have that innate. Just figure out what the leverage is and just use it. That's what negotiation, in my opinion, like that's come pretty easy. Prospecting though, dealing with rejection, like how do you convince someone to take an appointment, to do this? That's something you got to go in any part of your sales journey, any part of life. You got to know how to convince people of your vision. So that book is like, if you're looking to get started in sales, pick that thing up ASAP.
Yeah, that's big time. I'm gonna go sales, marketing, copywriting, like that world too. The Boron letters by Gary Halbert. This is like, man, it's letters from a dad in prison who's like legendary copywriter, Gary Halbert, writing his son letters from prison, telling him everything he knows about how to make money. And it's fantastic books, but he's a fantastic copywriter, but like he tells him how to make money from like nothing. And I think there's a lot of really good life practical wisdom nuggets in there too, layered into awesome, punchy sales, marketing, copywriting advice. And then the second book that I recommend is The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan S. Kennedy. If you're in sales, even if you're not in sales, everything is sales. You want to get ahead in your career, you got to be able to one, be valuable to other people, and two, convince them of the value you can create. And like, go polish up your sales skills. The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan S. Kennedy is one of it's on like my top 5 all-time sales books as well. All right. Any other mindset ones before we sign off on today's episode?
Any mindset ones? I would do maybe Magic of Big Thinking by Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. That's a good one.
Oh, nice.
I'd go with that. Tony Robbins is, I don't know. I like how he dissects mindset, limiting beliefs. I know I've had my fair share of, that's the one struggle that I'm constantly developing, getting rid of these subconscious, just meh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So getting like, that book helped me out a ton, becoming mindful of it. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That's another one. Dr. Joe Dispenza. This guy had to go get neurosurgery. Long story short, he like manifested he like figured out a way to like not have to do his surgery or whatever, just through the sheer willpower of thinking. So that's a pretty dope book. They're pretty radical, but it just goes you to show, man, like what your mind's capable of. So that's how I look at them.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with reading books that are far out there, whether you agree with them or not. Like I love, man, I've learned from so many people I don't agree with. You know, it's like a lot of what you say I don't agree with, but if I take one big idea from this that's going to make my life better, like that was worth it. I'm going to wrap up with one more mindset book. This has a little bit of the skill set too, but it's probably, you know, this is one like I think every young adult should read, and I say I can include myself in that group. Like I wish I would have read this one sooner. It's called The Last Safe Investment by Michael Ellsberg and Bryan Franklin, and it talks all about like how we think about our educations, our career, our financial situations. We look through them. We look at these big ideas and concepts through lenses that don't really make sense. And it's like lenses of tradition and lenses of like, this is what conventional wisdom says, but this is actually the results conventional wisdom gets. And we're pretending like it's not the way that it is. And so it's this awesome breakdown of like how to think about your early career, the way you spend your time, both the ideas you're exposing yourself to, what you're doing for work, the skills you're focusing on developing, how you're thinking about your money, you know, those first years of your life, and how you can think about those things a little bit differently to maximize the leverage you're building over time, so that every year into the future, you're not only better off, but you have more leverage to unlock even, you know, better things in life across all those dimensions. I think it's awesome. It also has an awesome section on super skills everybody should be thinking about in the world the changing world that we live in. So Last Safe Investment, check it out. Ljupco, any other parting words of wisdom?
No, man, just go out there, take that massive action, go believe in yourself, and read a couple of those books, and you set, man. You chilling in 10 years.
That's right. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. Keep doubling down. Be better tomorrow than you are today. All right. This has been another episode of The Deliberate Dropout. Thanks for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, you enjoyed this episode, leave us a comment below, hit subscribe. If you're on one of your other favorite podcast players, leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. If you don't like it, don't listen anymore. If you like it, leave a review, 5-star reviews only, so other people can find this. And we look forward to talking again with you soon in another episode.